Welcome back, guys, to the Beyond Condition podcast. So we are a week away from Valentine's Day. And of course, to celebrate all the love, all the good vibes, I have 6 legends with us today. And some of you have been on the pod before, so that's super cool. But this is going to be a bit of a funny, maybe slightly embarrassing episode, depending on where the questions go, of course. And thank you guys for coming on. First of all, I really do appreciate it. It's going to be super cool.
I'm getting nervous about these questions now, Sarah.
So we must add that all of us in off-season, apart from Alex and Emily, they are the prep household currently. How are you guys feeling?
Well, it's 4 o'clock and we're drinking coffee, so no, we're good. We're all right.
I'm only 3 weeks deep, so I can't complain.
So we're not too far into it, so not so bad at the moment.
You're still ready for it, and on plenty of food still?
Yeah, that annoying stage where you kind of start to get a bit skinny and deflated, but you're still fat.
It's like
and that anticipation of like check-ins tomorrow. So what's coming out?
Yeah. Is my food going down? Is my training going up? Yeah. It's a roller coaster at best of times, isn't it? Prep, the good old prep. And have you both had a year out for this one?
Yeah.
So 18 months, haven't we?
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what the rest of us are doing, right? You guys are the same?
Yeah, I'm competing well.
Matt isn't.
I'm competing later. I was going to take time out.
Yeah. Things changed. I definitely am. I'm not doing what happened last year, but Matt definitely isn't. Matt's going this year.
Yeah, I'm quite lucky in the fact I do recover from like post-show and stuff fairly quickly. So I'm already mentally ready. But yeah, 14 weeks time until prep starts. And then I'll go later this year.
Look at someone's face. What?
I thought we were all in off season. So you can still eat cream eggs now, but not
in 14 weeks.
Yeah, 14 weeks, cream eggs will slowly come out.
Love it. Okay, so I think the first question is going to be a good one. Just nice and simple. How did you guys meet? So if we start with Kelly and Donovan.
Well, we actually met online. Most people assume the gym and we don't correct them, usually is how it goes. But we've been together now a year and a half. So we met during the pandemic. And we just started talking gym straight away. And we tried to arrange our first date to be a gym date, but it was still at the times when you had to book things and you couldn't like sit at the table and stuff. But yeah, we actually met online.
Very nice. And Georgia and Matt, all that time ago?
I hate this story because I fucked up so bad.
Well, no, you didn't fuck up talking to me. You just fucked up the first date.
Yeah.
But he slid into my DMs because I did typically a post about pizza, and that was our mutual bonding. So answer to something about. I think it was even something about like how I prefer pizza over like guys or something. And then you. I was
like, yeah, same.
Yeah. and then we got chatting, and then the first date wasn't the best first date, but I don't know how you didn't really pull it back. We just met again, and then it was better. So yeah.
Wasn't it at McDonald's or something? Do I remember rightly?
Yeah, we had a dog walk first that he was late for, and he rocked up in his flip flops for a dog walk. When he's never worn flip-flops in his life, why would you get your toes out?
I don't even think they were my flip-flops.
No, we've been together all this time. I've never known. He can't even wear sliders properly. So I don't know why he would wear flip-flops.
I don't understand sliders.
He turned up late, had his toes out, and then made me pay for my own McDonald's. I don't think we even gave each other a hug goodbye. I wouldn't even give him a high five.
I didn't even. I thought I messed up so bad. I didn't even go for the hug. I was like, see you then.
And then now I'm married, so I don't know what he did, but
It worked.
It worked, yeah. And Alex and Emily, how long have you been together?
10 years this year.
And who's going to tell us how you met?
Well, we met in the gym.
She chased me down and stuck her claws in and never let go.
Not entirely how it happened. The short story is we met in the gym and then we got drunk.
We knew each other for about 2 years prior.
Yeah.
But were you like giving that eye?
I gave him the eye, yeah.
Well, it turned out that we liked each other, but I was a PT, so I was just being professional and ignoring it.
And I was a member with apparently not being professional or anything.
A lot of tequila later. and a broken finger, and we won't tell you what else.
Yeah, and the rest is history.
Yeah.
And now we're married, so there you go.
Donovan and Kelly, you've got a story related to alcohol when you first met, haven't you? When Donovan had COVID.
Oh yeah, so with our first New Year's together, we were supposed to spend it with my parents as the first one we could like leave the house, and Donovan tested positive for COVID, so we had to like pack up and quickly get out of my parents' house, and we ended up spending it just the two of us at his place. But it was like just like not a lot to do, so we were just like feeding him things to see what he could eat because he couldn't taste or smell anything. So there's just
cider
like
vinegar, red wine. It was just all down the hatch. No flinching, no nothing. Just couldn't taste anything, couldn't smell anything. Didn't know I was getting drunk.
So
Kept
he was
going.
So he was like, "Hey, you want to see my old uni trick? I used to be able to drink a bottle of wine, but I can't do it anymore." I was like, "I bet you can if you can't taste it." So we've got videos of him like, necking bottles of wine in less than 10 seconds. And now he doesn't remember the New Year. I feel like I did goad him into that. To be fair, I can't be too bad, but he has no idea. I started my first ever prep on New Year's Day, the day after, and he got really emotional at the countdown. I was like, "This is your year." Has no idea about any of it. Yeah.
Love that.
Did you try anything spicy when you couldn't taste anything?
No, not spicy. I think the one thing that we did have was the cider vinegar, and Kelly was like sniffing it and just having a meltdown about it. I was sniffing it, drinking it, like literally able to down it. Nothing.
Nothing at all. Yeah.
Taste, and that stuff's vile at the best of times.
Yeah, that's true. I am dead curious though if it would work if you could have something really spicy and not taste the thing, or if like
for Donovan, because he.
I was gonna say, you guys care to weigh in on Donovan and Spice?
You can say the story.
Well, we met up to go for food. We brought the menu over, and straight away Donovan was like, "What's this challenge?" And it was like the dead man's something, and it was to do with like spicy food. And he was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." We were like,
"That's a starter." He goes,
"Yeah."
We're like,
and next thing you know, this woman's brought over like a contract with like a disclaimer and like rubber gloves. She's like, after he ate the first one, she's like, "This is normally where people throw up." And Donovan was knocking him back.
Yeah,
his face swelled up. We were sitting there like we just got like mozzarella sticks in like normal food.
Then I had to sit there like snotting and crying and like hiccuping and all sorts for about 5 minutes. Not allowed to drink, not allowed to eat anything. The timer goes off. Oh, it was hell. It was horrible.
I
And that was just the starter.
Meal,
Yeah.
It was afterwards, and it was like, "You still going to eat your meal?" "Yeah, fine, bring it over."
How are the rest of you with spice?
I'm awful. Awful.
I don't like it when it takes over the flavour. So I like a little bit of a kick, but nothing.
So
nothing
I'm more
like-
worried about how it's going to come out, so I'm not going to put it in.
Wise man.
Burning the inside. So the next question, I think we can probably start. Who can eat the most? But to be fair, are we equal?
Well, yeah, probably across savoury and sweet.
You're savoury, I'm sweet.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Well, yeah, it depends what it is, but generally, I'm like,
Have you ever been to Fazenda?
Where?
Fazenda.
No.
Have them myself. So it's where it's the steak restaurants where the steaks they have like swords
you've got
and they
your,
cut them
your
off.
green and red card to start your food.
Yeah, so I can eat pretty much anyone under the table, including Brazilians.
Picking
Brazilian
hearts
steakhouse.
and all sorts of shit.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I've just got no off them. It's like a challenge, isn't it? I just don't want to
The
turn.
last time she did it, she was up all night just hugging her stomach.
It's horrible, isn't it?
Like when you first eat after a diet, you just eat till you can't move.
Yeah.
Just keep putting it in.
Yeah.
Like you've got capacity, and then suddenly, like 20 minutes later, you're like, "Oh fuck!"
I've made a
It's only
mistake.
little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched Kelly do that so we went to the Man vs. Food restaurant in London, and Kelly put a meter-long hot dog away in about 30 minutes flat, like just outside the challenger's time that it didn't count, but she put the whole thing away.
Yeah, they wouldn't give me the
And,
t-shirt, but they didn't
yeah.
make me pay for it because
Yeah.
they did. Because they're basically though, I'd eaten the whole thing, but I'd left some raw onions had fallen off the top, and I just couldn't scoop them in time.
Yeah.
But it was like the first time I'd met Don's parents, and they were like, and
You had a meter of sausage.
yeah, we took all his friends. It was just after his first show since I'd met him, and they were all trying all these different challenges, and I was like, "I'll put a hot dog away." No one else completed their challenge and I did mine. And also Don's parents were like, and I was sweating and crying. His sister had to like rub my back so I could burp. Like it was really intense. and they kept playing like the Rocky theme tune. Now when I hear that thing, I swear I have PTSD about this hot dog. it was a meter-long bun with 9 hot dogs inside. And obviously, yeah, you had to finish it within 30 minutes.
God knows how many onions they chopped up, jars of jalapenos in there. It was wild.
And Don's mum was like, your girlfriend's so lovely. And she was like, film me. She was like, go, Kelly. I didn't have any colour. I was just pulling bits with my hands. But I did do it.
Yeah.
And Matt pointed at Georgia.
Oh, easy.
Yeah, I just pack food away like it's nothing. Like
Is that sweet and savoury?
Just everything, yeah.
Well, we've all witnessed it. So.
Yeah. It's just, yeah.
We had an interesting wedding night, didn't we?
Oh yeah, but it was 2 weeks post show, and my digestion wasn't the best. To be fair, you got drunk and just passed out, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
I watched your stomach morph for your wedding day.
Oh, literally.
This tiny little wedding dress on, and then this tiny little bump just went. Boom.
Oh, yeah, I basically looked like I was about to give birth by the end of it, and that was me control.
You were worse. Sarah, you couldn't stop.
Me?
You camped out by that sweet tray.
Oh yeah, mate, I can put it away. The thing is, on George's wedding night, like I didn't have any repercussions. I was fine.
I think it's because mine was literally like 2 weeks post show, and my dress was not the best choice of dresses to be wearing since it's so tight. But yeah, no, as a whole, I've just always been a fatty at heart. Like I always say, like I said to Matt one Easter, because we were just literally talking about cream eggs, and because cream eggs are my favorite, one Easter my mum got us all eggs, and everyone got big eggs, and they got a few cream eggs, but because they were my favorite, she got me like loads of those selection boxes. And I guess she just assumed she didn't need to tell me, like, don't eat all your eggs in one go. Like, I think that's logic. But no, I did. And it was like 27 cream eggs. And it was just like in the morning, in just like an hour or two. And my mum was like, what have you done? And she was like fuming. Because I said, well, they're my eggs, aren't I? Surely I can eat them whenever I want. Like, on the hunt for more eggs. She was just like, Jesus Christ, what has she got for a child?
Don't you find they sweep stuff? Like, you have a bit and you're like, okay, I want a bit more. And it's hard to switch off compared to savoury. I find I hit a point and I'm like, okay, I'm done with that.
I think like I do definitely prefer sweet. Savoury, like if you give me a pizza, there is no end. Like it will just be knocked back, no matter the size. Remember one of your post shows, I was not in prep, and we got a large pizza, a few sides, things like that. But I got the same as Matt, and he was like struggling. He got halfway through his pizza. He's like, oh, I don't think I could eat anymore. And by the time he'd eaten half a pizza, I'd had like, but some of his side, my whole large pizza. So I tried to tuck into the cookies that we had. He said, just stop eating.
No way you could do that. No way.
Alex once tried to do, you know, the man versus food challenges.
Oh,
So we tried to do a pan.
it was the beard, you know, the beard meat, whatever his name is. We went,
Meat.
so all the prep, I watched him just demolish these pancakes in like 20 minutes. These are like 12 stacks of 6. Like they were like this, and they were like covered in like peanut butter and other
Like
stuff.
full things.
I was looking at it, I was going, I can do that, that's easy. And then we went and did it to do it, and I honestly, I got through one stack, and I was like, fuck. Most embarrassing thing ever. I was trying to drink it like he did, and I was like, I'm gonna eat one more mouthful, I'm gonna throw up everywhere.
Yeah, didn't we watch one that Man versus Food did, and it was pancakes, and he was like, he didn't finish it because he was like, they're just so dry and like cakey in your mouth.
He smashed this in like 20 minutes, and I only got through one stack of like 12.
Yeah, it was a big letdown.
Yeah, no fun.
That's what George always calls me. You always call me a letdown, don't you?
Yeah, he's useless.
So do all the girls here eat more than the guys?
Yeah, that's essentially what we've discovered. Yeah.
There's a place in London that does all-you-can-eat cakes, which is literally my dream. And the scoreboard isn't that high, so I feel like we need to make it in London just so I can
The
smash
scores are like the most someone's eaten, and they give you like an hour and a half is like 6 or 7. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How much is of this place?
smash a whole cake.
I'm limited by
Like
6.
to.
That's really with cake.
Mm.
Can't smash a whole. There's no way I could smash a whole cake.
Easy.
It makes me feel. This makes me feel
Like,
sick. I could smash a whole pizza, easy. I could do a pizza and burgers and shit, but not a cake. Fuck me.
We have to ask what your go-to is post-show. Do you have the first thing that you want to eat? Is it the same every time?
So last time it's really random. I really wanted a lasagna and a white chocolate magnum. That's all I wanted. But last time we
a lot
prepped
of ice cream last time.
yeah, but last time we prepped it was 2021. So we were in prep during COVID and all the shows got moved back. So I was meant to compete in April and it got moved back by like 6 weeks. So I ended up doing 34 weeks of prep, which I just wasn't expecting. And then I just actually wanted like proper hearty food.
I was doing outrageous refeeds anyway, so I just wasn't bothered.
Mass with sass, burger
Doing like
every 2
10,000
weeks.
calorie refeeds.
Ridiculous.
I ate so much one time I puked out my nose in my sleep.
Good the next day that Sass was like, do it again next week.
I'd do that and I'd put like a pound on, and then by the Thursday I'd be even lighter.
What the fuck? That's like you, metabolic
And you just go,
syndrome.
do it again, then I'll be like, oh. All right.
Georgia, you're pizza, aren't you?
Well, yeah, we normally get a Domino's, and then I've got to have some sort of like donut cookie thing. You've got to end with a sweet. So yeah, I'll always have some sort of pizza. I'm normally pretty good though, because obviously I have to normally push to quite extremes with prep. So I know my body just won't be happy. So I'll always have like a small pizza, so I portion control it. And then, because I know if I get a large, I'm going to eat a large. If I get a small, I'll eat the small. So I get a small, and then I have some sort of like donut, cookie dough, whatever, as like and I just make sure I take the one with me as well. So I'm pretty good at portion controlling, but it's just the fact if I was let loose, it would be like savage.
Give it a couple of days. What about you, Matt?
I'm exactly the same. We always have Domino's, so we're quite lucky in the fact that we always want the same food.
Yeah.
So yeah, usually Domino's. Then I'll just have whatever scraps she leaves me from the sweet thing.
Okay, you can sniff it and then I eat it.
And what about you, pair up there?
We do the same. We always find something sweet like a donut or something, but we actually have a post-show tradition that was and it was an accident. I don't know how we became these people, but we always go to McDonald's so that we can give chicken nuggets to the dog. I don't even remember how it started, but we made it. Yes, we made a promise that every time we finished a show, we'd get nuggets for the dog and something for ourselves. But mostly it's sweet stuff that we go for.
Yeah, there's always a baked good or some ice cream somewhere, isn't there?
Yeah.
The good vibes flowing. You've got this to look forward to, Alex and Emily. It's not long. But at this point, like you said at the start, you're like, tunnel vision sets in. Yeah, it's like, yeah, this is cool. How long is your prep going to be? Do you know?
It'll be like 13, 14 weeks.
Well, yours will be. Mine will be 16 weeks.
No, from now.
It's 11 weeks on Sunday
For the first,
and then
about 14 till the last one.
Yeah, something like that.
Will you get the bug and do more, do you think, or?
We're debating, it depends if we qualify, but we're debating doing finals if we qualify. We'll see.
Yeah. Just
my birthday's in between though, so it's like
refeed.
Do I want to prep on my birthday?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Emily and Alex, you can have the next question first. Bad habits. You've got to name and shame each other.
The thing that pisses me off the most and drives me up the fucking wall. Well, I'll say something to her. She doesn't fucking listen to a word I say. She'll go, what? And then I don't even reply anymore. I just go, right, fuck you then. And then she'll go, and then she'll answer me. So you fucking heard me. Don't say what? I don't need to repeat myself.
So he mumbles something, and then it just.
Do I sound like I mumble?
And then it takes me a while to process it. So I say what, because that passes the time, and then I process it. And I answer.
It enrages me.
Alex doesn't know where a bin is, so he likes to put stuff next to a bin, but not in a bin.
I've got a wife. That's a joke.
Disclaimer. What about you, Kelly and Donovan?
You can go first.
I think Kelly's list for me is going to be endless, but I think the one thing that winds me up the most is if I do something and Kelly goes, well, I wouldn't do that. It is that simple, and it gets to me. Like if I throw my toys, like at the moment I'm really struggling with my training, like really, really struggling, and I'll try and get through a session. I'll tell her, oh, it's not great, this isn't moving well, I'm sort of counting my session, whatever it might be. She'll go, well, I wouldn't do that.
Why would you do that?
Oh, it winds me up so badly, so badly.
Now it's Kelly's turn.
Yeah, I think this is a very current present one. Is Don is very sensitive about his training. I'm very much make it work, get it done. If that machine's not free, I'll make it work. Whereas Don will be like, I'm leaving then. I shall go. The amount of times he's gone to go to the gym, not charged his headphones and left it. And I'm just like, just training without headphones. And he's like, we are not the same. It's a very current one we're going through.
We're going through a bit of a rocky patch.
Not between us, just me, him, and our third partner, which is the gym. We're having some issues with the third partner.
Love triangle. Now it's Georgia and Matt. Well, hey.
You can go first because that's what do I do?
She's only got like, it sounds so gay, but she's only got one fault, and it's, some people would see it as a positive, but she's so organized to the fact it shoots herself in the foot.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
so organized.
Yeah.
Like, she'll plan everything, every little minute detail in advance. So then if it doesn't go to plan, she gets a little bit stressed about it, don't you? I think that's literally it. So like,
I don't think that's a bad
we
thing.
don't do birthdays anymore, really, because she's
No.
tried to plan me so many
Oh, they
birthdays,
always go
and they've
wrong.
gone tits up. Like her best one, she like planned us to go to Rome, so she
I
booked
mean,
Rome,
could predict this. COVID
and then
happened.
COVID happened. So like,
I'm just
obviously I
really
got all the
unlucky with
stress.
planning stuff.
Yeah, so there's things like that, but I think that's literally the only thing that
Just
annoys me.
perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that
Now,
cute?
same
Now it's her turn.
So he will trim his beard and leave all his hairs in the sink. He will, now he does change the toilet roll, but he leaves the empty toilet roll on the floor or next to the new toilet roll. Like, you've got that far, just put the toilet roll in. Trims his toenails in the shower, then leaves his toenail trimmings in the shower. At least they're in the shower now, they used to be in the floor.
If you keep pointing at me, I'll tell everyone what you leave in the bathroom.
Complains he's got so much work to do in the evening where he could just get up earlier.
prioritize sleep. That's when you grow muscle.
But you could just go to bed earlier and get up earlier.
No.
But then complains that he's got not enough time in the day. Yeah, I could name a few, but otherwise it's lovely.
Otherwise,
Sarah and Nat, are you gonna go?
well, I would say your only fault is when you're critical about your own physique, but this is something we probably all share. So as bodybuilders, it's very, very common, isn't it? So yeah, I'd say
It'd be weird if we didn't, I think.
That's the whole point, isn't
If we
it?
were just like, yeah, I'm perfect.
Yeah,
It'd be a
'cause
bit
you're
weird, wouldn't it?
always finding the faults you're always finding the faults because you want to keep improving. So
Mhm.
that's your mindset is look at what's not so great so you can keep making it better.
yeah, that's the main thing that we have to have talks about. So we're both like, we need to just cheerlead ourselves a little bit more, but it's hard in this realm. I think I'm probably getting better at it, and you are, but
We had that poignant conversation in the car about it, didn't we? Where we said that we'd stop being
so
sort of
negative.
self-detrimental about our own physiques, just off the cuff, like little comments that you do about yourself.
Mm.
And we had that.
Sounds silly, but I even said to like my girls that when you notice you say one negative thing about yourself, say 3 positive. Sounds really silly, but it really changes your mindset. Firstly, to notice the triggers when you say something negative rather than downward spiral, and then it gets you to try and switch that positive mindset to be like, oh no, actually, this looks good, or I feel proud of this, or whatever it is, and then it changes that thought process, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than that negative one all the time.
Yeah, and I always I used to think, oh, it's just females, but I'm sure you guys will agree there's still that element of always wanting to look better, but then when you get to the point where you wanted to, so whether that's body weight on the scales or whatever it is, you're like, oh well, I could probably do a little bit more, and then it's like, when am I going to give myself a break here?
I think, like, especially with John, like, he talks so kindly, especially when you're in prep and you've got that mindset. With our last prep we did together, and he talks so kindly to me and talks so trash to himself. And I'm like, would you ever say those things to me? He'd be like, I should quit bodybuilding because I'm a loser. And I'm like, what would you ever say, Kelly? Come on now, you're a loser. You look trash today. And he's like, no. I'm like, so why are you saying it to yourself? Like that external visual is so important.
Yeah, for sure. Have you got anything else that I have bad habits?
No, I think the only thing that ever shocked me awake was literally when we first woke up and Bicep just played blaring at the loudest setting as an alarm clock, and I was like, holy shit, I'm awake, what the fuck is happening, what is going on? And she just starts like bouncing around the room straight away, and I was like, did I fall asleep in a rave? What's going on? What is happening? And I was just like, and then I accustomed to it.
Yeah,
very quickly, because I was
I remember you saying if that was anyone else,
I would have launched him out of the bed, I swear to God.
So in regards to, what's the next one, Matt? We'll go a little bit sentimental. Standout support moment. So Emily and Alex, do you want to go first? Or anyone who...
I'd say we're pretty good at being stoic for the other one. Like, if I'm a bit of a wet blanket emotionally about stuff sometimes. If I'm being down, she's the tough one, and vice versa. And it doesn't matter if both of us are upset. The other one tends to pull it out of the bag. The other one.
Yeah.
And I think because we own a gym, and we both come from different backgrounds, and we made that decision to completely change our lives, like move area, sell everything and invest in something like a complete unknown. And just the support we had to show each other, because Alex was a personal trainer, I'm a nutritionist. Theoretically, we work very well to own a gym, but actually we had no idea about business, and we've both had to be there for each other through the wobbles of, oh crap, it's actually really hard to own a business. So yeah, I think we do a good job of propping each other up when we need
like
to.
the dog as well. You were really upset about the dog.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was as well, but I had to be the brave one because she was more upset.
Yeah, so
we're pretty good like that.
So one of our dogs had to go for the operation the other week, and there are babies, and it was literally like I couldn't handle it. I couldn't stop crying, and I wanted to be the one that took her. But Alex knew that if I took her, I would stay, and I needed to come home, and so he took her. And it's all those little things of just, I guess, awareness of how the other one is feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, who's going next? Can either of you think of a good standout?
Yeah, you know what, Kelly's got a very good sort of attention to detail with pretty much everything. A good example is kind of like, so my parents are notorious, and my parents and my sister are sort of notorious for being kind of late and a little bit chaotic, and I'm very stressy when it comes to pretty much everything. But something like one of the shows that we did, it might even have been the one that you were judging nearly 2 years ago now. So my parents were meant to come up and meant to come with us and all that sort of thing. Kelly navigated that whole thing to make sure that they were there, that we got to the show on time, that like all of that was taken care of, so that there's no stress on the day, that I can just sort of go in, get on with it and do my thing without having to worry about those sort of external factors. And sort of, it's not just that, but everywhere possible. It's just those little things that kind of go in that she does that most of the time she probably doesn't realize that I've taken note. But yeah, it's just those little things.
Oh, Kelly.
I'm good enough. Yeah, no. I know exactly what mine is. My prep for the British finals that were in October, in August of last year. So I was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks into prep for the finals. I lost one of my really close friends. She passed away in the August, and I don't remember, maybe August to like September time. Like that time is a blank. But I know that I stuck to my diet, and I know that I was training because Don bought me a very expensive gym membership so that he could literally take me to the gym, because I was insisting that I wanted to continue with the show. And he made every single meal and every day, tracked it in MyFitnessPal for me, and just put them in front of me. And that's the only reason I made it to the show, because I don't remember any of that time. I just know he was doing it. I'm like, I've got like physical evidence that was happening, but I barely remember it. Grief is really, really strange. But I told my friend when I'd seen her that I was doing the show, and she was insistent that she was going to make it to watch. And then obviously she wasn't. And I said to Don, I said, I'm not quitting. And he said, okay, we make it happen. And he completely took hold of all of that. And I wouldn't have made it there if it wasn't for Don. I wouldn't have.
Oh, you guys, after the bad habits, it's all forgotten.
Yeah.
Georgia and Matt.
So, I mean, I would say, to be fair, there's probably quite a few moments, but I'd say if it wasn't for even meeting Matt, I wouldn't be here now. Like, I would still be vet nursing, and I wouldn't have built the life we have. And every year, I've made a point of like reflecting back that he's always made it better for like us, for the business, for me, everything. So throughout all my preps, like obviously, because even now with him coaching me, like he's always had my best interest. He's always so excited to like see me on stage, or wants the best for us with our business, or whatever it is. Like, and it's funny because we were talking not long ago about when we were like living in his mum's spare bedroom to save up for the house, and we were going through some shit then, and like how we did support each other even though we hadn't been together that long. And it was a really, really hard time. So it's like to know that we've supported each other, but as a selfish thing from my point, or like a selfless or reflecting thing from my point, he's always made sure he's brought out the best in me, and he's always pushed me way more than I would have thought I could like push myself. So yeah, there's been like definitely like pivotal moments where he's pushed me that bit further and shown that support, but I'd say as a whole, like there's always been something. So that's why I let him off for like putting his toenails in the shower.
I think for me, like when we first met, like she briefly touched upon it, like we weren't like financially or in life in general, neither of us were in a great spot really. Like we were both pretty broke. Like I came off a business that went bad, and you know I was back in my mum's house and stuff, but it didn't really matter to either of us. We obviously just fell in love for who we were, not where we were in life. And then we sort of like made a memory box from the get-go, and we basically said, yeah, we fell on tough times. We both were completely out of cash, and we said like we will get out of my mum's house, out of my mum's bedroom. We will own our own house and things like that, and be established with where we want to be. And then like, yeah, what was it like 2 years later, we got our first house, and we sort of achieved all those things. So going back through the memory box and like being able to tick off the things that we've done, and it's all because we sort of like, similar to Alex and Emily, like if one of us have a bad day, the other one brings each other up. And I crashed my car and wrote my car off like not long after doing that first note. So Georgia got a loan out for me because I couldn't get a loan at that time, and like supported me that way, and we just done that all the way
and it's that
to where we are now.
You suffered quite bad with anxiety, and I would have to work night shifts, and I knew he like didn't sleep that well if I wasn't there. So it was like leaving him little notes about reminders of like, remember your breathing, remember like, you know, think about this and this, and then no, message me if you can. And I would like try and touch base with him, and then I would go back and he would have to work really early, so I'd finish my night shift and he would leave me a note to let me know how his day's gone, just so, yes, you can obviously message and things, but it's that little thing of like being there for someone. Yeah. Especially when you know like there's been tough times, because I remember we even got paid on like, I got paid halfway through the month, he got paid at the end, and we were that strapped for cash. It was like, right, I've got these bills going out, so he would then lend me money to cover me, then I would then eventually get paid, and then I needed to cover him, so I would then so, and that was like really early days really. But
I don't think either of us would be where we are now without each other. So I think that's it really.
I think that's nice actually, because all you three guys have sort of touched on there, like the mental health side of things. Again, it's something that maybe females talk about more, and actually men do have feelings as well. And something that I promised Matt when we got together was that I'll always make an effort to compliment him and make him feel good, because I think personally I haven't really done that in a relationship before. I haven't maybe thought about, you know, the guy being the guy, and actually it's super important to make the guy feel good as well as the guy complimenting the female. I'm sure you'll agree.
Unless I do something stupid like shave all my beard off and look like a thumb.
Oh my God, he did look like a thumb. Like, why would you do that?
You still got a bald head?
Yeah, for now.
But you look so different.
It was the first time he went bald, and he was like peak off season, and he was very white. He hadn't tanned or anything, and then he shaved off all his beard, so he literally looked like, you know, like on Spy Kids, those walking thumbs. And all I heard was, "Oh no!" and then he like peered his head round. But this is a sign of pure support and growth, because normally I would take the mick, but he looked so upset. I had to keep reassuring him. I still loved him. and I wasn't going to leave him. Here we are. His beard is back, and I'm still here.
I love that. You always say if you take your beard off, you'll look like you're like 10 years old.
Yeah, for sure. If I want to look like a few years younger, just take a bit off the beard. It's never all coming off unless I get my face tattooed and I need to get the space.
Are you the same, Alex?
Well, so mine was like this, and then I chopped it down to like that for the holiday. Now I'm trying to make it back to that, but it's not been that long. When did we get back for holiday? December.
Yeah, before Christmas.
So it's already it's getting there.
Do you have to do
once you grow a beard, you can grow one back pretty fast. Like it took me 35 years to grow a beard, so
it took him COVID to get through that awkward stage.
4 straight months. The last 4 months that we were shut, I just didn't touch it.
Do you have to move it when you eat sometimes?
No, but I shave. I trim my moustache down because I can't stand it. It's from here to here. It's like a 1 on my razor thing.
Yeah, otherwise ice cream.
You eat it, I can't deal with it.
Perhaps get stuck in it.
Yes.
Okay.
Saving them for later.
Beard Chronicles. So I don't know if you guys do, but whether this is joint or individually, if you have non-negotiables.
Can you give us an example?
So what would be a good example for us?
What do we do on a
non-negotiables?
We always go on our walk and talk.
Yeah, we always go on a walk in the morning. Oh, Alex and Emily, you always have breakfast together, don't you?
Yes.
We try to at the gym.
Yeah, at least have a coffee together.
We always sit down for breakfast and we always sit down for dinner. And to be honest, unless well, it never happens anymore, but the only time we don't go to bed together is if one of us is away. We always go to bed at the same time. We always get up at the same time. And we always have breakfast and dinner together. But we can. That's our life. We've wangled it that way.
It's important though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what it's like with this sort of lifestyle. And Donovan, you work in an office, don't you? Like when you're doing set things, it's sometimes the quality time that you like talk, but you're not actually talking. That's why we do our walk in the morning, because we'll actually properly talk, or we're both on our laptops and we're not actually present with each other as such.
Yeah, Don's got like a real job, so he like goes into an office, like a madness. I guess like get up and it's 9 to 5. I know. Everybody, see, I'm with my people here. We gym when we want to gym. So yeah, a lot of our schedule actually, even though I'm on a much freer schedule, I set my own. It's I will manipulate mine to fit with John, so that we can get up together. I'll often have clients, like personal training clients I'll see in the morning, and we get up at the same time and we go to bed at the same time. And our days look completely different to each other, like nothing alike. But we always make sure that's it. And we will have a chat before bed. So we get into bed at the same time. And I get really upset if he goes when I've not brushed my teeth yet. And I'm like, because you'll be asleep by the time I brush my teeth, and then we don't speak. So like, you sit up in that bed before I get in there, because that's our only thing we have in the same in the day.
What about you guys, Georgia and Matt?
I don't think we have like non-negotiables.
No, we've got a very similar routine. So we always go for a walk every day together, and then we try our best to have like a switch off from work, and then we just have like a chill on the sofa, and then we always have Sundays off together, completely off work.
Yeah,
and we spend that together, and that's pretty much it, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's a good thing about make sure you cut off work if you do the same thing. So you two coach together. So it's very rare, but if something's really pissing us off at work or it's stressful, we will, when we get home in the car, we say, right, say what you want to say now, and then we walk through the door. That's it until we go back to work tomorrow. And sometimes we have sat in the car for an hour.
Yeah,
but then it's done, and then when you get into bed, you go to bed.
I think that's one of the hardest things. So before we bought the gym, I worked at Nestle, and Alex was a personal trainer at a different gym. And because we didn't spend time in the day together, in the evening, that's where you talk about what happened in your day. And it's okay because it's very separate and it doesn't affect each other than like each other talking about it. But then now, because everything that happens in the gym affects both of us, it's really important that we have that hard stop. Otherwise, the evening just gets ruined and we don't get to relax. And we do just end up working 24/7 then. And I think that's one of the things that took me longest to adapt to, is to just end it at the minute we walk in the front door.
Yeah, that's a good rule though, isn't it? You sort of bash it out in the car and then done.
Otherwise, you're just angry all night, or there's no point going to bed pissed off.
Yeah. Like
not with each other, but with a situation, and then you it's all just get rid of it.
Yeah, for sure. And in sort of off the back of that, with quality time together and your favorite things to do, have you got like hobbies and stuff that you share, or do you do individual stuff? We do literally everything together. I don't know about you guys.
Everything. But, I mean, we don't really do that much since we've got the gym. Like it's pretty non-stop. But we did so much stuff before we bought the gym that it's not really a problem that we now don't really have much time.
Yeah, because you've got memories.
Yeah, exactly.
We have Sundays off now, and we do try to spend as much time.
That took 3 years to get Sunday off.
Yeah.
How many hours do we work a week in there?
Let's not talk about
it. Zoning on the day
together.
Off.
We're together, so it's not, like we do sit down for a lot of meals together, in fact. So.
For sure. And are you guys the same?
We have separate hobbies, actually, don't we? Like I play golf. I try and play golf, not very well.
Yeah, you do like every other week or so, don't you?
Yeah. And I'm a bit of a gamer as well. So Georgia doesn't like gaming. I'm trying to get her into the Harry Potter game when it's out now. I'm going to try and play that with her.
No, it is out, but it's not out on Nintendo Switch yet, which is just frustrating.
We're so gutted about that. We're devastated that it's not out yet.
Well, I am. Literally,
there's no way I got ever playing games.
Literally, the company that I work for, and the sort of role that I do, I speak with Warner Brothers and Disney and Marvel and that sort of thing. That's kind of my day to day, and we sort of get contracts literally for products for gaming. So we end up making those licensed pieces, but everything that I've seen lately has been about that Hogwarts legacy, and I'm so excited to give it a go, but I can't yet.
So Don also games, in case you guys didn't.
So you don't game together either?
No, not really. I mean, every now and then we'll have friends around, and then it'll be something like Jackbox, but it's not like we'll jump onto like a Fortnite or whatever together. It'll be kind of we'll do like a big group game, but that's about it.
Not Naked Twister?
No.
It's not balanced enough for that. That's the main problem. The nudity, fine, but the Twister part, absolutely not.
Georgia, what are your hobbies?
I don't really stick at hobby. Well, to be fair, I don't start anything to stick at them, do I?
We tried to do climbing together, didn't we?
Well, you're rubbish.
I remembered I'm scared of heights.
Yeah, so Matt's scared of heights, so that didn't work. So to be fair, I'm normally my life revolves around the dog, to be fair. So I just literally work to make his life better. So if I've got time, I just take him to the shop and let him buy his own food. So it's normally gym stuff, it's normally dog stuff, and then it's normally anything. I think I've spent so long on prep, I've not had the spare time or energy to think about what else do I want to do, because I did start pole fitness, but then I didn't like where I went, so I stopped.
You went once, Georgia.
I suppose everyone's biggest.
And I paid for a second session, but I didn't turn up. So when I was younger, I had hobbies, but not so much now.
You've been thinking about trying out that high rocks, haven't you?
Yeah, because I thought it would really help my fat loss, but I feel like I'm too far gone now. I might be too big to move. I thought about that, but I don't. To be fair, if I ever have free time, I am starting to I'll meet up with a few of the girls now, which is very food orientated, so there's more food people, or it's normally stuff with my sister. So I try and be social, but I don't really have, like, other than the gym, too many hobbies as such, do I?
No.
Maybe I should think about
your bodybuilding too much.
Yeah, maybe if anyone wants to suggest any new hobbies, maybe I'll do like a new thing a week and see which one sticks.
What about cooking? You can cook me something.
No, because I eat everything before I cook it. It never makes it that far.
That's true.
What about you, Kelly?
I have a number of hobbies. Actually, Don and I spend almost like a lot of time whenever I'm in the house. We're sort of in together. He's just started touch rugby.
Well,
You
I
just joined a
played
team.
like I played at uni and stuff like that. So I kind of set a goal of playing in the Euros again this year. And the best way to kind of get fit and get back into it again was literally to get stuck straight into a team and play games. So I've been back into that for a couple of weeks now. And to say that I'm unfit is the biggest understatement ever. Like, we got onto the pitch, it's 40 minutes of touch rugby. You're running up and down as quick as you can. I think my heart rate was averaging about 175 on the first day. Like, I eventually could not move. I was in so much pain for days afterwards, like still trying to get my breath back. But yeah, it's progressively getting better and getting fitter, but it's a fun thing for me.
Yeah, for sure.
And I used to do pole fitness actually, but we moved, so it wasn't easy to get to the studio anymore. So when we moved, I had to stop that, unfortunately. But I have a friend who is a dance teacher, and we had this discussion a few months ago about how, as grown-ups, you sort of like drop off hobbies. Because I've been self-employed for so long and I've always just been a bit of grafter, all of my hobbies I sort of turned into businesses. So I used to love painting and portraits and fine art, and now that's my side business. I do great pet portraits, by the way, for dog people. So like, because that became like work, so now it's not a hobby anymore. I was like, and now I don't do anything that I'm not trying to monetize, which I think is quite common for like us as people. Same with you, Sarah. Like, you used to love baking, now that's your business. So it's like, you don't just like bake for fun anymore, because you're always doing that for something else, you
like
know.
Market research.
Exactly. So my friend is a dance teacher, and so there's a group of us, and we were talking about how sad it is that you don't have hobbies as a grown-up. So we just hire a dance studio, and we just she just teaches us a choreographed routine, and then we just flail about for a bit. Well, they can all dance. I'm just I'm enthusiastic more than anything else. We all put on our heels and just spend about an hour feeling ourselves and then go home. But like, that's like just for me and nothing else.
Yeah.
Again, that's it. And that, and Don has his rugby, and that's like our separate time. But I mean, I go and watch the rugby for support, of course.
Yeah,
yeah, mostly I like to take the dog.
Yeah, the dog. Do you know what the best part of the dog coming along is? He gets so excited. He loves having a little run around, seeing people, seeing a ball, other dogs, all that sort of thing. But then I work from home on a Monday, and he's incapacitated. He has such a great time on the Sunday. He's just into the world the whole day on the Monday. I can go through my calls, not a peep from him. It's amazing.
But it's something that, like, when we were both so deep in prep. You did what, 4 shows last season? I did 2.
Too many.
I did too many shows last season. And then we just found, like, when you're in prep and like you're either doing steps or cardio or like making meals or like trying to like rest, and everything's so meticulous, you run out of time. So that was one of the last, when we came off the back of this prep, we're like, right, no more shows for a while, at least a year. No one's doing a show. Let's put something else in that time, so we're not just sat going, should we do another one? Because we knew that's where it would end up. So we were like, let's find something to do that is fun, that isn't the Stairmaster. Because like other grown-ups do things that aren't the Stairmaster, and we like forgot about that during prep.
Yeah, for sure. That's why when off season, we talk about this on the pod all the time, like embracing meals out and time out with friends. Because I had Emma Hyman on the pod, and she was saying her friends, when she goes into a prep, they'd be like, I'll see you in 6 months, because they understand she's got to go tunnel vision. And then out the back of that, she would see them again. And it is like that. But I guess this leads me on to my next question about sort of inner circle. And I'd class you guys as part of my inner circle, because I've met each of you and picked up the vibe, and it's your lifelong friends. But I think that through this journey as bodybuilders, we sort of say goodbye to some relationships that are outside of bodybuilding. Maybe for anyone that's listening that's come across this or is coming across this currently, because obviously first timers, like suddenly everyone's going, why are you doing that? You look like this, da 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 da. Have you come across this in your bodybuilding careers?
Yeah, but also saying that, I've come across the complete opposite. Like, the people at my office are unbelievably supportive of it. Like, they actually, so long as my performance doesn't drop, have been phenomenal about it. Like, obviously I've not had any nonsense about like performance dropping or anything. I made sure that that was taken care of first above everything else. But they were very accommodating to me in a sense of, okay, we're happy for you to take certain time off, or like if you need an extra like half-hour lunch so you can go and train then because you've got some energy then, whatever it might be, they were like, okay, we can be flexible about it and we can sort of see you get through it. And it's not a case of, oh, why are you doing that or anything. They go, okay, you know what, you're doing that, that's great. Let us know how it goes. And even when it came to, there's like a big awards evening thing that we go to every year. And even that, they were like, look, we understand that you're on prep and you're doing all these things and you can't really eat with us and stuff like that, but we'd still love to have you there. We still want that time with you and for you to be able to experience these things. So like my work's been fantastic about it, but then you get people on the other side that, whether they're friends or sort of people that you just know, that kind of go, oh, you know what, you can just have one beer, or you can, oh, why don't you just have one? It's not going to do anything. And it's kind of like, you're tunnel visioned and you have got things that you want to achieve, and you say no, and they get a bit weird about it. And yeah, it's not that I say cut them out, but you get to a point where you got to distance them at the very least until you sort of back off on the other side.
Yeah.
I think when we started this journey, I thought, oh, I'll just explain it to everyone and they'll be cool with it. And that wasn't quite how it happens. Like some people are like, okay, you know, you've made an effort to explain what this is all about, but then you still have to. It's like you said, Sarah. People are gonna look at you and be like, I can see your cheekbones a bit much today, and like, you know, why are you so cold? That can't be good. And I'm like, no one ever said it was good. Like I didn't come to you and be like, I've got this great idea for my health. Like this is an extreme goal. And there'll be some people that will. And for example, like my aunt had decided that she was going to come and see the show, and she was like, she went away and did her own research, and she came back. She was like, "Hey, Kel, tell me about your carbs. I really want to know what you're up to." Like, and some people will do that, and then other people will go, "Nah, Kelly's doing some weird stuff. I don't want to be involved." And those people, you're better off just saying, "Okay," like you said. Do you know what? I'll show you the end result. We'll have a picture and we'll talk after. But this is something I want to do, and it's something for me right now. I think something that I don't know how I would have done any of those journeys without Don, because sometimes people look at you like you are crazy, and there are moments where you're like, "Am I?
You are.
Am I crazy?" And Don goes, "Yeah, me too. I'm crazy too." Exactly. Like the external view of, like, I don't know, the civilians can get in your head a bit. That's why it's really important to have an inner circle that understands the goals, even if they're not doing it themselves, just understands them and supports them.
Yeah, for sure. Would you agree, you guys?
Yeah. Go on, Emily.
My mum was quite funny. So my parents don't really understand what we do. I used to swim and they got that, and then bodybuilding is just way too extreme. And my mum texted me the other week saying, "Are you on a diet?" And I was like, "Yes." And she was like, "Okay, so you don't want to go for afternoon tea?" I was like, "No, Mum." But then I get this a lot from friends. They'll say, "Are you eating?" I'm like, "Well, I still eat." Or, "Are you now training?" Well, I've always trained. They don't. So they're you know, I've got some really close friends that will never understand bodybuilding, but they have learned to accept that I'm not going to go out for a drink with them, or I'm probably not going to see them when I'm on prep. I have other friends that I don't really speak to anymore because they've just never understood it. And then I guess we've got people like you guys, and then people at the gym that have actually taken the time to understand what we're doing, and they're really supportive of it.
People at the gym love it. Clients love it. Like you end up just repeating yourself, the same every single session, the same bloody over and over and over. That's all they just want to know, and it is nice, and it does keep you going. But yeah.
And Matt,
I think this is something I say all the time. The right friends, they stick around anyway. It doesn't really matter. Like, I've got friends from school still. Like, I've got a stag do in a couple of months, you know, from school days, and he's not into bodybuilding whatsoever. Doesn't care about it. and we used to go out partying a lot, but we still stay in touch now. Like the ones that you sort of lose touch with, I kind of find that are often they're just more drinking companions or party companions rather than actual true friends that you've developed a good relationship with, in my experience anyway. Because yeah, I've gone through this journey. I've met a lot of people and a lot of friends through bodybuilding, who I speak to way more now. But yeah, my true friends from the old days are still around, and I still do speak to them. But if you do sort of like lose a relationship with someone for pursuing what you want to pursue, you shouldn't like ever hold yourself back from still pursuing it or like beat yourself up about it, because ultimately, like, yeah, if they're a true friend, they should still support you. Like, I've got a mate that's really into his cricket. I fucking hate cricket, but I still support him on it. Like, if he wins a game, he's really happy about it, I'd say like, well done, mate, that's awesome. And if it was a cricket game nearby, I'd probably go watch him. I'd be bored to death. But so it's the same thing for any industry, really. And yeah, you shouldn't stop doing what you want to achieve just because someone doesn't understand it. You can try and explain it to them, and if they don't want to get it, and if they shut themselves off from it, then it's their choice at the end of the day. That's my view on it, anyway.
Are you the same, Georgia?
Yeah, so I mean, our wedding speaks for itself. Like the one table of friends I had are all bikini athletes that live at different stages, different places of England. So I mean, obviously, I had my bridesmaid fee, and I've known her for however long, like years. And I think the friends that you have growing up, the right ones are going to stick around no matter what. Like I probably haven't spoken to her in like 3 or 4 months, but I know if I dropped her a message and said I'm back down in Cornwall, do you fancy like a coffee? She'd be like, yeah, sounds good. And like we're on 2 completely different paths of life. Like she's there very mum life with her 2 kids and settled, and obviously I'm the other extreme. Like if I'm going to get fat, it's from food, not from babies. So it's two different extremes of life. But we are both like, I would still be like happy to see her and her kids, and she would still be like, she's the same. She is a bit like typical. Are you eating? Can you eat a cake or whatever? And but she is, as long as I'm happy, she's happy. And then obviously I've changed my circle to suit my goals. So and it's also knowing that, you know what, you don't have to speak to certain friends every day if you know you've got the right circle around you. I mean, obviously I've got like the main people I speak to basically every day, which is basically the only 2 people on this call. Emily and Matt are the 2 people that speak to me every day. But otherwise, I know if I needed to talk to anyone, like I know I've got my circle of friends. So I think that's the thing, is knowing that you've got the right people around you, whether you speak to them every day or not, but they want to see you win. And like I say it to like even my lifestyle girls, that if because they do notice, because especially lifestyle people, when they're starting their journey and they're making changes and they notice the people around them that aren't always the most supportive. And I'll always say, you'll never be criticized by anyone doing more than you. That's the right way around. So basically, anyone that's happy with their life and anyone that's succeeding, they will never put you down, because they are so happy with their life, they want you to do well. So if you ever get any negativity, more often than not, which sounds really bad, is normally because they are jealous because you're making changes. They're too lazy, they can't be asked, something's not going right in their life, so they project it on you. So if you ever do experience negativity, you know, you've got to find the people that are positive.
The dog, don't worry.
The dog agrees.
So yeah, it's just literally like make sure that you are, if you do experience negativity, that it says more about them than it does about you, and you've just got to change and evolve to the people that want you to succeed more than anything.
Yeah, I say that to Matt about like you guys as friends. You're more friends to me than quite a lot of the people I've grown up with and maybe known for like 10 or 20 years. And I've only actually seen you in person a handful of times, but I'd actually come to you guys rather than them. And you're quite good at just, if someone's not serving you, cutting it off. Whereas I'm like, well, you know, they might be going through something. Maybe, you know, we need to empathize. And he's like, we're not catching the right vibe here.
They're out.
Yeah. And well, the next question I'm going to ask could cause some friction between. No, I'm joking. Who would you say is the most dominant one in your couples?
Depends on the situation.
I wanted someone to say that.
And I wasn't even being dirty. It just it depends, like, and that's yeah. It's like that's part of being that team again, isn't it? Like I said before about the emotional stuff. when one of us has to be more dominant, we'll do it, and when the other one does, we'll do it.
Yeah, for sure. Is that the same with you
We're
guys?
we're pretty even like that.
I'd agree with that. I think
Yeah, I'd say we're pretty good at understanding each other's point of view. So if Matt felt strongly about something, I would always see his point of view, and if he was just like had his opinion and that's what he felt like, I would then, you know, understand his side, and then it'd be the same if it was the other way. The only thing I would say is I know I am far more stubborn. So the only time someone is, I wouldn't say it's a dominant person, probably the better person is the fact that Matt will be the one that, like, if we were to have an argument between ourselves, which it really doesn't happen, it's normally me just being stroppy, he is the one that has to fix the problem. But as a whole, in like who wears the trousers or whatever, I wouldn't say either of us does, because if I really felt strongly about something and wanted to do something or didn't want to do something, Matt would see my side, and vice versa. If he felt strongly that he really wanted to do something, then I would see his side for things.
We've got a trouser leg each. We share the trousers.
Oh, I love that. Are you the same, Kelly and Donovan, or have we got a dominant one?
Your head.
Hey,
Yeah, I did.
the thing is it's a similar thing. We don't argue much between us, but in like problems facing the world, Don's a very much quietly graft from behind, whereas I'm like stomp up to the problem kind of person. That you may also have noticed the way we speak as well. That's just in terms of personality, I'm very much the extrovert and he's very much the introvert. So in terms of any new situation, I'll be the one to make those first steps. But within our own relationship, that is kind of dissipated because I've got this like big march to the world kind of thing. Actually, when there's friction between us or any conflict between us, it's that's very much where Don comes into his own. But outwardly and like 90% of the time, it's me.
Love it. And I've got 2 more questions. First one is, what would be your bit of advice for bodybuilding couples to make it a successful relationship?
Definitely communicating, because especially if you're on prep, because the amount of times, like, especially when you're in a prep hole and you can be so consumed with ticking your own boxes that you forget what someone else might be feeling. And if you don't tell someone, so say I was on prep, because we've got an example of this. I was so deep into prep, I was absolutely battered mentally and physically. And then Matt had COVID at the time, and he was feeling really shit, and he was trying to tell me how he was feeling. And I was just oblivious and didn't really care because I was struggling in prep. So he then had to say to me, I'm just trying to tell you how I'm feeling. I am struggling a little bit. Admittedly, I did shut him in a room to quarantine because I was on prep and I didn't want to catch COVID. So he's not very good at being isolated, whereas I don't really care being by myself because I have a dog. So I was not fussed. But because he told me how he felt, I then felt awful and was like, oh my God. Then I made extra effort to be like, are you okay? Can I get you anything? All that kind of stuff. But if he hadn't communicated, he would have resented me for not giving a shit. And so it's vice versa as well. Like sometimes, which is very rare, but on one of his preps, he got very like stroppy, and I was like, have I done something? Because I take a lot to heart. And then I obviously always want him to be happy because he is such a happy person. And we were going out for a walk and he was a bit snappy, and I was like, have I done something? And I was getting very worried. So I'm very aware of my behavior. And then I make sure that, you know, is there anything I can do to make things better? And then it's just always making sure, like, if prep or not, don't just assume the other person's a mind reader. If you've got something going on in your head, because not to stereotype, especially men, they're not mind readers. So don't get shitty at something because they've like put, like, I don't know, they haven't done something that you expected them to do. Because that's the key. You've expected them to do it. They didn't know they needed to do it. And then you resent them for not doing this thing that was going on. So yeah, like, and then talk through your feelings. Either way, we get it again a lot with lifestyle and prep clients. Whatever your goal, whether they train as well or their partner is not even interested in it, tell them how much it means to you, and then make sure that they can see the other side, and you can then not be, it sounds awful, but not so selfish that you can give them their time as well, because it can just be quite consuming. Definitely communication.
Yeah, for sure. Have you got, Alex and Emily or Donovan and Kelly, anything else that you would? Because that's obviously the big one.
I'd say never go to bed angry.
Yeah.
Because that's going to impact your sleep, and then it's going to start the next day badly. So it goes back to communication. So
Like the car thing. Don't
Yeah.
go to bed angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it depends on whether you're on prep at the same time or whether you prep separately. But I think so the times where Alex has been on prep and I haven't, if you're the one that's not on prep, understand what the one who is on prep is going through and do everything you can to help them. And then if you're on prep together, just remember that when they are hangry or frustrated, you've been that person too. So just sympathize with it and just listen and then get on with your day.
We're pretty good at knowing when to walk away from each other.
Yeah.
So like instead of snapping, we'll just go, right, well,
I'm out of here.
I've been really bad in the past. I've even gone like, just give me 10 minutes. Don't fucking talk to me for 10 minutes. Just need 10 minutes of silence and then I'll be all right. And if you don't, I'm going to be a fucking prick. But that's just being honest. So.
Yeah. It's easier that way. What about you guys?
I think like you guys have all hit the nail on the head with kind of the personal part of it, but then like on the other side of it is you guys are working towards a goal. So like when you're on prep, you're trying to get lean, you're trying to get into condition, you're trying to do all these things. And then when you go to your partner and you ask, is this looking right? Is this looking wrong? You've got to be blunt and honest and say, okay, no, you are. If your show is next weekend, you've got 2-3 weeks more dieting to do. You've got to just be honest about it.
Yeah.
Because actually by letting the sort of, I don't know, the emotions that are involved go, if you're saying like, okay, well, I think you look great, but from the loving side rather than the, you know, what the end goal side is,
Yeah.
You're not going to be very helpful. It's actually probably going to be damaging when that person gets on stage and they're not quite ready. So you just got to be blunt and honest, but as soft about it as possible, because obviously everything's heightened when you're doing these things. All those feelings and emotions and sort of everything that's running through the prep is just heightening everything up.
I was trying to say, oh, sorry.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because you look at each other with these rose-tinted glasses, right? And especially if you're coaching each other or you're part of that decision-making process, it's like, my girlfriend head is different to my coach head. Those are different people, but we always try and say it's not you versus me, it's you and me versus the problem. Yeah. Like it's like that thing Georgia was saying, like if Don's in a bad mood, I'm like, is it me or is it the diet? And I'm like, oh wait, he's not the cream egg for 6 months, it's obviously the diet.
Love that. Okay, so we're going to finish on a light-hearted one. The funniest thing that you've done together as a couple, so your funniest memory, if you've got one standout one or multiple ones.
The thing that I remember is laughing the most of was in Thailand. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're absolutely smashed, and we decided to go to a beauty place and put our feet in one of those fish tanks. Still got the picture, and I don't think we've ever laughed so much. So I can't fucking stand my feet being touched. It's a stupid idea from get go, but you were fucking hammered.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Georgia,
We've never laughed so much.
No, I can't think of the top of my head. Come back to us in a minute.
Yeah.
I think it'd be quite hard to top that one, to be fair. Alex doesn't like his feet touched. They're smashed and in Thailand.
Is it?
Get your eyebrows waxed as well.
No, you got your eyebrows.
No,
I had a cutthroat razor shave. But I didn't even really have fucking facial hair at the time, so I just ended up with this red fucking rash.
We were just giving them money.
In Thailand, if you stay awake and keep spending money, they'll keep bringing you alcohol and they'll keep things open. So yeah, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning and we were still going.
We were inquisitive about the feet thing, weren't we?
Yeah. So with your feet, is it the fact that they're ticklish, or is it the fact that you just don't like them being touched?
Yeah, they are outrageously ticklish. Like I'll jump a mile if you touch my feet.
Have you seen that video that was like circulating on Instagram, and it was basically like a row full of women having their feet massaged, and then there's this guy and he's just outrageously laughing while this woman starts to massage his feet, and it's so infectious. I showed it to Sarah and we were both just rolling around laughing. It was amazing.
But was it the same holiday where the lady boy gave me a pedicure?
Oh God, yeah.
And I was in hysterics, but it wasn't because it was a lady boy. It was because of my feet.
Thailand was a very good holiday.
It was very.
That was actually pre-bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we showed you the picture, you'd laugh.
So we must look like we ate that couple.
Yeah, I look like a
Tiny.
14-year-old boy.
I need to see this.
I'll send it to you later.
Kelly and Donovan, do you have one?
Well, I think Kelly's gonna bring up a different one to me, but I think a week before the first show that Kelly came to watch, we basically went and we did one of those Tough Mudder type run things. I was at the height of diet, so could barely move. Kelly
But he was so fit. He
Yeah.
moved so fast. He was barely anything off him at the time.
But we sort of cruising through all the mud and stuff, and it was a good laugh the whole way. And there was one rule to it: just do not get hurt and do not get injured. Don't do something stupid. Anyway, we're going along these monkey bars, and it's all muddy and it's all wet, and just Kelly's just rocketed across. I've never seen anything like it. Just like straight across these obstacles, not a worry. Me like mud on my hands, trying not to slip. Anyway, I get to literally the last bar, and hand on, about to try and get off on the other end, slip, smash into the side of this pit of water and mud, bounce off of it and land in there. And there was like this moment of silence.
He like bounced off the bank and went backwards into the water, and everyone around went, and we all like held our breath, and he came out of the water like gasping, like when he realized he was like still conscious, everybody started laughing. But there was a moment we were like, it's bad. It's bad.
1 week out.
Yeah, one week out. But it was that whole experience was just such a good laugh. Like neither of us are good runners. We both enjoyed the mud. We both enjoyed sort of all the obstacles and things. But yeah, it was just a good laugh. Great fun for us, I think.
And Kelly, would you agree, or is there something else?
Oh, well, I was going to tell the brief abridged version of the story about the first time that my dog ate chocolate. We found an empty chocolate wrapper and we thought it was the dog. It turned out it wasn't the dog in the end, so the story is fine. But we were like frantically doing the maths, like if he's eaten this chocolate, and it was chocolate orange, and I couldn't smell it on him.
Dark chocolate orange.
But we were like, if he's eaten this is the amount that was gone. We were like, this is the dog's. But we couldn't smell it on him, and he didn't look like he got into it. And the chocolate that was left in the packet didn't have like dog marks. Like I was like, I don't think it's him, but we should check. Anyway, so we messaged all the people in the house. They were like, it wasn't us. And we were like, oh my God, is this the dog? We don't have time to get him to the vets. He's eaten an amount. So we had to try and make him throw up. And it's funny now, at the time, Don and I were like both like crying. And like, I'd pay anything for the CCTV of this, because basically what we did is we just started like swinging him around in circles to try and make him eat. Like, because the vets were like, you won't get him to, if he's eating this amount, you won't get him to us in time. It was a Saturday night. It's an automatic grant because of his breed and the fact that it's out of hours. Like, it's going to cost so much. And they were like, but if you're not sure he's eating it, like, what are you going to? And I was like, okay. So we Googled how to make the dog throw up, and basically we fed him a teaspoon of salt, and we took it in terms spinning him around in the kitchen, both of us crying, holding the dog, like, this is it. And then he threw up everywhere, and he hadn't eaten any chocolate. And so he was like sat on the floor next to his own vomit, like looking at us like, why, Mom? Why have you done this to me? As I say, hilarious now, but at the time we were so hysterical that like there was no like of that like external lens that goes, this is mental. At the time we're like, we've got to do it for the boy. So yeah, we tell that one to people quite often.
So you ate the chocolate?
Sorry?
You ate the chocolate?
So far, no one has come forward, especially after that story, because I didn't want to admit that we'd had to go put the dog through such a traumatic time. But it was one of Don's friends. It has to have been. It wasn't him.
It wasn't me, and it wasn't the dog.
So,
yeah. Georgia and Matt, it's getting harder to think of one because we're getting some good stories here.
I know. To be honest, I think she just laughs at the things that I do. To be quite honest. I do a lot of stupid shit.
I'm trying to reflect, and the times I've really laughed, to the point I've probably even peed a bit, is going to be down the fact, like, when we've mainly snow oriented. You're not very good when we go like anywhere to snow. So
I'm just not very good at stuff.
First ever time we went skiing, you tried to jump. So he tried to do the typical, like, you know, when there's a big mound of snow and he went to jump in it to like create a big snow angel. It was solid ice. Like, I've never had anything hit the ground so hard.
It wasn't like the movies.
It wasn't. So and that was the most hideous, like, I've still got the video, but instead, like, I'm just laughing because I knew he was conscious, so he's fine. And then when we went skiing recently, trying to follow him walking through an igloo, and it was icy, so his like legs were like going everywhere. I didn't say little legs. His legs were going everywhere.
Big legs.
And I posted it on my story, and I had many people reply to that saying they found that the most hilarious thing ever. And I definitely think I peed myself a little bit then, because it was just like, it just was non-stop the whole way through the igloo. He just couldn't stop falling over. So you're just not very good.
I'm just not very good. So. I've got stuck in trees before. We've like had climbing competition. I got stuck in a tree.
Oh yeah, you're not very good on heights. So even on that snowboarding holiday as well, we all thought we'd climb on the team sign, and all of us, so there's 4 of us all posing on the sign, apart from Matt, who is like literally like holding on to this eye for dear life. So as you look at the sign, we're all posing, and Matt's just got his arse bent over the sign, clinging on for dear life, because he got scared of the height.
Yeah, we had a mate, he's like 6'5", boosted me up, thinking, oh, this will be all right. Got up there, I shit myself.
And I've got a video of just Matt screaming, going, help! Yeah, you're not very good. You did it with climbing, going up a tree. I've got a video of you stuck. It wasn't even that high up a tree.
Falling off skateboards, that kind of thing. She just laughs at me a lot.
Yeah, he's not very good at doing stuff. So he says he's got like a million hobbies, but every time he's tried to do a hobby, it's just he's quit again because he's been crap.
Oh, bless him. I think what would our funniest probably went with Gaz.
Yeah.
So we had Matt's client to stay because he was prepping for a photo shoot, and we were going to be at the photo shoot with him. I don't know where it came from, but he was sitting there, and I was like, Gaz. So he's like totally bald, and he's like, what, 60? 55. And I was like, Gaz, did you have hair as a child? And we just all like just started like, I don't even know where it came from. And he was like, how do you say?
You've got to do his accent.
He's Irish.
He's Irish, so listen to
so
this.
He's like, hi Sarah, what do you think I am, Benjamin Button? And I was like, what? And we just did not stop fucking like, you know, when you're crying and your like cheeks hurt and you're like or maybe being at the top of the volcano naked. They're probably our two favourite ones.
That guy was coming up.
Yeah, so when in that reel that we posted with us on the top of the mountain, there's a guy coming up the other side, and that's why I keep going. I'm like, fucking hurry up, fucking hurry up. The way he's walking up the thing, and he got to the top, and he was like, never seen that on one of my mountain treks before. Fucking hell! What a way to wrap it up. Thank you, guys. I do appreciate your time of reflections. Now you can either go and argue or cuddle.
Sarah, can you do a sign off in an Irish accent, please?
Oh God, I can't do it. Like Irish, Scottish, English, they're all the same. How do I do it? Okay.
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it.
Aye, guys.
I don't think just saying I makes it Irish. I'm not sure.
Literally, he makes me say it all the time. I'm like, this isn't even Irish.
Like, do a voice note to Gaz. Do a voice note to Gaz.
I'm like, hi Gaz.
I before everything.
Fucking hell. Send help. What an episode, guys. I bloody love you. You all rock. Thank you for your time. Go and have cuddles with your doggies and cuddles with each other. Why not?
Bye.
See you later, guys.
See you guys.
Bye.